Is out of the car, and Jamie Little's caught up with me. No, we got another crash. Hold on,
Right
Jamie.
behind you.
That is Richard Johns, the 25 into the wall, along with it looks like the 22.
He ran right in the side of us, boys. We're all right. Fired.
The
You're
27.
Okay,
it's Jason Keller in the Dollar General machine.
Sure, I gave him enough room, did I not? He just ran right into you. Get it fired if you can and keep digging. Come on.
So quickly, we've had 3 cautions up, bang, bang, bang.
This is Arrow Loose again, the same problem.
Exactly what we were talking about.
Exactly the same thing that happened with the 12 car of Sam Hornish a little while ago.
I see why you cringe when you see him going there.
Well, I tell you,
well, Richard Johns, he was an intern 6 years ago for Ed Rensi's team. He's normally an engineer on the 35 car. This was his first Busch start, and you're looking at the end of it right there. Stay with us.
152 Richard Johns' car came into contact. The freecreditreport.com Ford of Ed Rensi had contact with the wall, and here is Richard Johns' car still sitting on pit road as he pounds the steering wheel, hoping to get an opportunity to get a good finish here tonight. And here's the reason for the caution flag, the 5th one of the night.
Yeah, looks like a tire went down.
Drag it down. Looks like the tire went down. Looks like a right front. Clear down. Drop. Clear down.
And nothing he could do about that. That tire goes down. You're just along for the ride, and they hit that wall and did a lot of damage. They're going to have to go behind the wall and fix this.
And what that caution meant is everyone came on to pit road and made their what should be their final pit stops. You heard Shannon say they can make it the rest of the way on fuel. And let's take a peek and watch Jackman Wade Luxton as he goes.
The spin just getting ready to happen over in turn 4 to 25 car.
That's
Johns.
Richard Johns.
Richard Johns in trouble. Last thing you want to see out of a new driver.
Team Rensi Motorsports, his 3rd race with the team. He is normally the engineer on the 35 car for the team. That's Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s car. And here is Richard getting himself turned around. I'm wondering if he got a little bit of help. There's not a lot of damage to the race car. We've got a replay coming up. Let's take a look. He's on the high side there in the 25.
What's the last thing you want to see is 3 wide going into the start of the race. 47 car gets up and clips Kelly Byers, gets him in the left for a quarter panel. And you know you might be able to fix this car, Marty. It's got the rear of it tore up a little bit. It's definitely not out of the race.
Take one more look at it.
You know, it's definitely a classic case of not giving up real estate. You know, we talked about get what you can get on these restarts, but you know the tires weren't even up to temperature right there, and they just ran out of racing room going into turn 3.
So a tough break for Richard Johns as he started 22nd, and right now they'll get him into pit lane and try and work on that car, see if they can get him back out. Stay with us. We're under our first caution here at Kentucky.
Got some cars spinning around. Caution flag is out. 11 car Mark Mitchell has gone around. There's 59 of Marcus Ambrose. One other back there trying to get himself right. And Cale Gale in the 33. Oh, and I didn't see Brent Sherman up against the inside wall.
Okay, another opportunity for Wimmer right now. He knew what he did wrong last time. Got up a little high in the racetrack. Didn't get the tires in quick enough. He's probably thinking, all right, one more shot.
Let's see what happened here.
Looks like these guys stacked up in the corner got together.
Put Richard Johns on the spun list.
And then these other guys, we see Ambrose spinning to try to miss him. Marcus Ambrose in 59. Richard Johns gets into the 11 car. Spins Mark Mitchell around.
Anybody can run with him. Wow, and Reed Sorensen coming back as the caution now waves again. And got trouble, got a car stuck down in turns 1 and 2. There is the 25 car and has had some hard contact. That's Richard Johns in the backup car. He had problems in qualifying with the primary car. Looks like he's hit both ends of it, Andy.
Yeah, this is the 2nd car he's torn up today. This looks similar to the car that he crashed in qualifying.
Driving the Ed Rensi number 25, normally driven by David Gill. And let's see if we can see what happened entering turn 1.
This is almost identical to qualifying. It gets down into turn 1, it gets loose. Just tore the whole back end of the car up.
Let's take a look at the qualifying lap, Andy, and see what happened there, because you're right. It looked awful similar going into the corner. He's qualifying. It kind of stays out. Car's already loose. Can't get it to the bottom. It backs it in the wall. Bam.
Almost identical.
Tell you what.
The only thing different is the sun's out right here when he was qualifying.
Now here's what happened just a moment ago here in traffic entering turn 1.
Almost, you can see his marks from qualifying going up there. He hits just a little bit farther down, but it's exactly the same kind of wreck.
I tell you can't hardly tell any difference at all. I mean, when they go back to the shop this week, they're going to have to call their frame guy up and say, give me 2 of these, baby, because that's what it's going to take to fix them.
All right, could these be the final pit stops of the night if we go green, which we haven't been able to?
There's a caution on the track.
Yeah, we've got a spin in turn number 2, the 25 car of Richard Johns, and it looks like he may have had a little contact. Oh, easy.
As I just said, you were good, but...
All right, bub. Catch back up. You're fine.
Maybe just a slight touch, but he's got some donuts and everything else. Don't know if it was on this spin or if he had any contact at all. The lucky dog from Aaron's will go to Danny O'Quinn, the 30 car.
Off the brake. One on each side. Yeah, you call back up. Do you have a brake pedal right now?
And there is the 30 car, so he'll get to come around, get back on the lead lap.
We'll see what happens. I don't believe these guys are going to pit again. Well, any word from pit road?
Find out shortly. The most cautions we've ever had in this event was 13. That was back in 1993. This is our 5th. The fewest, actually, we went caution-free just once back in 1985.
So let's listen into the spotters as we go full throttle. Contact right on the start there. Back and forth cars getting around the 25 car, getting tagged from behind.
Well, I'll tell you.
And Jason Leffler, take a look at that. One of the guys been in the top 5 throughout the day. Big damage. Front of the car tore off.
Radiator's gone. Let's just pull
A lot of that happened. I mean,
deal here, Jason. We'll fix it back in the garage.
Unbelievable. Bad break for Jason. In the 25 car, he's all tore up. Richard Johns.
Carl Edwards really ran all over the back of Mike Wallace on that restart. He really got into him pretty hard, and I believe he created a lot of this. Let's see what happens here.
Now they were coming down for the restart. Now watch the contact with the 60 and 7.
Just ran all over him. He had a fast race car.
Yeah, that was absolutely without a doubt Carl Edwards' fault. He jacked the back end of Mike Wallace up, got Mike loose up into the wall, and that was just impatience. Carl say, I've been winning a race. Mike, you've stood out there in tires and got this track position. Get out of my way, and he's just mad.
Chain reaction behind him at 25 of Johns gets tapped from behind. The 38, you see the damage on the front of Leffler, who's 4th in the points, by the way, here in the NASCAR Busch Series. Now the onboard camera from Richard Johns.
Green.
And Richard just never even got hardly out of second gear. Had his second gear and the third gear and already crashed.
A lot of impatience there. You hear the tires spinning. Oh, man, great job by David Rudeman getting through that.
Here's the best news. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back for the final laps, we're going to be commercial-free to the checkered flag.
Dave Blaney up under the 41 car. Oh, got a problem here with the 25 car in the wall.
That's Richard Johns. It'll bring out
Rear contact.
caution for the 2nd time.
Garage, guys. Get straight to the garage.
Lap 32, the Ed Rensi car having contact with the concrete here at Charlotte.
Got to get in here and get some of these parts pulled off this car so they don't drag the racetrack and clearance these fenders, but he can probably keep going. He just loses the car, looks like, here between 3 and 4.
So he just got up high in the racetrack, Andy. He just
That's
got up in that
turn 2.
turdy part of the racetrack off at turn 2 and just spun that car out. And, man, he's tore that thing up big time. The whole back of the car's mashed up on it. And although that rear spoiler's awful high. Take a look at our lucky dog here. Kyle.
Hold him back.
Well, right now, he's just probably wore out. He just wants to get it done.
Whoa, car spinning. Got a number of cars involved. Frank Keaty's involved. David Reagan's involved. The 30 car is also there. Stanton Barrett.
Wow, the 25 car, Richard Johns, has almost got through every wreck today, and he got tangled up in this one. Too bad. He's been doing a great job throughout the day, and another crash right at the start-finish line. Literally, there it is, folks, right on your screen.
Yeah, Richard Johns done a heck of a job. He's dodged 3 different crashes today. Stanton Barrett, who was having a good run in his 30 car, he's involved, and he will not finish. We will end up with a green, white, and checkered situation. Dario Franchitti, who, despite getting tapped from behind, was spun 360 and avoided contact. Now his car involved, and he was nosed into the inside wall. Take a look at how this happened looking back out of the 25 car for Richard Johns.
Looks like Dario Franchitti got in the back of Richard Johns. Spun him. They all started piling up. Just a little bit too aggressive on the throttle by Dario. And this is what happens when it's all over. Piled up at the start-finish line.
See Reagan involved there with the 30. It was David Reagan that got Stanton Barrett as he was trying to slow up.
Yeah, those guys were just trying to avoid this wreck and end up getting smack in the middle of it.
Right along with David Reagan, and watch what he saw.
He's just minding his own business coming off the corners.
Spinning here, check out.
And boy, when those guys check up in front of you that quickly, you just can't get stopped. And look at the sunlight.
Get it fired up here if you can.
It's another sunlight problem. Well, you got to feel for Richard Johns. Gives a good wave to the crowd. He's up. Sure to get off the close.
They will put the red flag out again with 3 laps to go and try to get this race. They will get this race restarted. There's the heavy damage on Dario Franchitti's car.
They had to red flag the race because this is basically blocking the racetrack right here at start-finish line, and they need to clean this mess up. And it's hard to do that when you got race cars going by or trying to get by this mess.
David Reagan in the 6 car. Reagan, by the way, 5th in the point standings. Remember, we talked about the NASCAR Busch Series only drivers who are regulars trying to get up there. Reagan, who runs both Busch and Cup. But the points pretty tight there from 6th on down through 11th, so some things could shuffle here in the final couple of events.
Well, it gives everybody time to cool off and get themselves ready to go for a big shootout right here. We could have another caution, guys. This is going to be a gunfight.
Let's give Matt Kenseth.
Racing from the rear of the pack in qualifying. They had tightened up the car just a little bit too much, and we got more action on the track, Doc. Can't get this thing started.
Richard Johns, Dave, in the 25 car and the 1 of J.J. Yaley.
This is the 25. Let's spin it. Right in the pit road, bud.
Oh, after Richard Johns had such a good run at Phoenix, and talk about a Phoenix native, J.J. Yaley, both these drivers pretty significant damage here in their cars here in the final race of the year.
What's going on, guys, man? We've got this big wide racetrack with banking everywhere, and these guys keep running into each other.
They're getting too impatient, Andy. This track is so wide with 3 different lanes. They're going for it right away. Just like you said, let's get in a spot now. Let's get a spot, real quick instead of being patient and settling in.
Richard Johns trying desperately to be able to get a sponsor to run this 25 car next year for Ed Rensi. Trying to be impressive here. Let's see what happened. That's Stephen Wallace on the inside, Yaley in the middle, and Johns up high.
Boy, it looks like the 1 car just gets up in the left rear quarter panel, the 24 Johns, and, gets a little tap in the left rear, and that's all it takes when you're running close to 180 miles an hour, and that's what they're running.
And look, that's the same spot Bobby Labonte just lost it all by himself, so that track must be a little bit slick on that entry point of getting into turn 3.
Well, I really think as this race goes on, it's going to tighten up more. The track's going to get more grip, like Matt Kenseth, our in-race reporter, said earlier. He said, it's going to change, and they're ready for it.
Richard Johns so desperately wanted to get a good finish here. They had talked to a couple of sponsors in this week about being on board in 2008 for that 25 car for Rensi, and they thought they were getting close, and obviously he wanted at least a top 15 finish here, and he's run so well here in the second half of the year, but now heads down to the garage area.
Oh, yeah, Jerry, the last thing you want to have happen is go out at the very last race of the year. We've talked all day about wanting to end this year on a high note, Andy, and, when you don't, you go back home, it's miserable.
But, the sad truth is there's 43 spots out there today, and somebody's going to finish in all 43 of them.
Well, the 28 car will be our lucky dog free pass winner. He's the first driver a lap down, Robert Richardson Jr.